Oh, again. Just to let everyone know, we're recording this meeting so that we can put it on our YouTube channel. For anyone who missed it, they can see it there. So you're being recorded. This is, if you're not comfortable with that, then you can leave. Oh, let's see what who's on. Bhutan will be joining us in about 5 minutes. So if you want to get started with the basic
absolutely
stuff, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
All right, well, it is 10:02. We could start our meeting. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our board meeting for September 18th. Let's start with roll call. Christiane, can you handle the roll call for us, please?
Yes, I can. George Brazil.
Present.
Bhutan Hamidani.
He'll be joining us in about 5 minutes.
Patricia Johnson.
Here.
Carol Amkins.
She was on.
Unmute.
Mute.
Unmute yourself.
She's here. She's just muted.
Karen Menches.
Here.
Deborah Ogden.
Here.
Taylor Stead.
She's going to be out sick today, so she won't be here.
Linda Thomas.
Here.
And Christiana, we need a name change, Rose.
Yes,
Christiana.
I know.
Christiana White / Barretto.
Yes, I will get that for the meeting minutes. Congratulations to Christiana. She got married.
Thank you.
Woo, congratulations. That's
Congratulations.
awesome. Awesome. Okay, well, now we're going to move on to audience introductions. If you would like to introduce yourself, Rose, are people going to raise their hand and then we're going to unmute them, or?
Yes, we can do that.
Okay, so raise your hand and you can, and then we'll have you unmuted and you can introduce yourself.
Carly, can you make sure to unmute the people, please?
Yes, absolutely. Rosendo.
Can you hear me?
Present. Yes, we can hear you.
Hello.
Rosendo, go ahead.
What am I supposed to do?
Oh, just introduce yourself.
Sure.
Name, what you are, your CID, that sort of thing, who you're with.
I'm certified. I've been for 4 years. I live in Orange County, and my name's Rosendo. And I actually know a couple of people on the board that I didn't realize were on there. And I've corresponded with Rose quite a few times throughout the 4 years that I've been certified. So I'm here.
Wonderful.
I don't know, really, I've never been on one of these. I just kind of wanted to participate but I don't know to what level we're participating. So I really don't know about this. I should have probably read more before. Sorry about that.
Certainly. What we generally do, Rosendo, and for everyone else, is in the beginning, we like to have everybody introduce themselves so we know who we're speaking with. Just kind of give your name, your affiliation, maybe years involved in the industry, and whether or not you're certified. And then throughout, we will also take breaks for questions. So there will be question and answer periods throughout the process. Other than that, just sit back and watch and learn. And we welcome you here. Thank you, Rosendo.
Thank you. And if I need to step out for some, do I just walk out?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. Because my camera is not on right now. Will that?
Yeah, the cameras for the audience don't come on, so we'll be able to hear you but not see you.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Rainy's here.
Good morning.
Good morning, Rainy. Welcome.
Oh, Rainy's muted now.
Oh. You muted yourself again, Rainey.
Well, actually,
There he
okay.
is.
It kind
There
of,
you are.
there we
There you
are.
are.
Rainey Sherman Design Group, certification number 0009. Makes me the old guy in the group. Good to see you all.
Welcome. We're glad you're here. Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, we have
Nancy?
Nancy. Oh,
You're muted again, Nancy.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I have a pretty early number too, 2112. And I am a commercial designer at a small university in San Diego.
Welcome.
you.
All right. Anyone else? Oh, Megan.
Go ahead, Megan.
Hi, I'm Megan Ragnar. I am a CID. I am an interior designer at Huntsman Architectural Group based out of San Francisco, the San Francisco office. And this is my first board meeting. So I'm really excited to attend and see what it's all about.
Welcome. We're
welcome.
glad you're here.
Welcome,
Thank you.
welcome. So we have 3 more that have their hands up.
Okay, we're going to let David speak for a brief moment.
Hi, Dave Wagner, owner of Wagner Kitchen Design, Pasadena, CID number 744. Hi, Rainey. See you.
Welcome.
Thanks,
Okay,
David.
glad
Great.
David's here.
Okay. We have Linda.
There she is. Hi, Linda.
Hi, how are you?
Wonderful.
Good. I'm acting director of the California Legislative Coalition for Interior Design. Glad to be here.
Thank you for joining us, Linda.
Thank you.
And thanks for your service, Linda.
Definitely. Okay, we've got one more here. Hello.
See, Ong?
Ong, is that how you
Muted,
pronounce it?
actually. Yeah, Ong is muted. Can Ong unmute or
Can you can you unmute yourself, Ong?
There we go.
You can hear me, Rano?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm a CID from Hayward. I'm so happy to hear you guys again. Yeah.
Good.
My CID
Wonderful.
number is 7310.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. We
And thanks for
have,
representing the Bay Area on.
we have Mara.
Amara.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, how are you? Hi, I'm actually an interior designer from Canada, and I have moved here recently. And the reason I joined this webinar is because I'm just trying to figure out how things work out here in California. So I'm just here for getting more information, basically.
Well, welcome. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to contact us directly, and we're happy to answer questions for you too if you don't get the information here.
Okay, great. I will do that, certainly.
Wonderful.
We have Alicia Cabrera.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi. Yes.
Oh, okay. My name is Alicia Cabrera. I've been a designer probably for about 12 years. My CID number is 6616. I am currently the Capital Projects Manager at Cal Lutheran University. So I partake in overseeing all the construction as well as putting in place all of the design elements there. So that's what I do.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for joining us.
Okay. We have one more, Karen Martin.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
We can.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Karen Martin. I am CID 7355. I'm based in Los Angeles, and this is my first, I want to say my first official meeting as a CID, so I'm excited to see what it's all about.
Wonderful. Well, welcome. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, those are all the raised hands.
Wonderful.
Well,
Okay.
welcome everyone. Welcome, Hutan. So since our secretary is not here, Hutan, we're going to ask you to step in. We need to approve the meeting minutes from the last meeting.
Yeah, can you read the motion, Hutan, please?
Sure. Just give me 1 second.
Oh, it should be June 5th and not September 18th, by the way.
Yeah, unfortunately, hi everyone. I had difficulties on my computer. Our server was hacked yesterday completely, and that's why I was a little bit late. And
No
we
worries.
don't have our email, and everything is gone. I just fixed the Zoom on my computer to be in, but I'm trying to find out the binder.
If you go to the Google, did you get the link? Because Carly can resend
Yeah,
it to
but
you.
no, the problem is the link is broken because of the hacked. My computer is completely.
I
Why
can.
don't we have Christiane then do this?
Yeah, Christiana, go ahead and read it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I make a motion for the board to approve the September 18th, 2021 board.
It's June 5th.
Sorry, June 5th board meeting minutes.
And
Second.
we have a second.
Second, I'll second.
Patricia,
Yeah.
Okay. Any discussion?
is there anything, any questions about the meeting minutes?
Okay.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Minutes approved.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Tab 2, Treasurer's Report. You're back on.
Wow, it's just my day today, I guess.
It's your show today.
Normally I don't speak for more than about 3 minutes, but wow.
Well, now that you're married, you have much more responsibility.
Okay. Rose, do me a favor. Can you email to my or text to my cell phone the meeting minutes? I completely lost everything.
Carly, can you do that, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. Carly will do that right now. All right, Christiana, you're back.
All right, so looking at the profit and loss for this year through August is the next page. We have a total income of $160,062 and 50 cents. We have with that, Rose, are we missing a page here?
No.
No, okay, sorry. I didn't scroll far enough. We have total expenses through August of $174,235, which puts us a little bit under at 14,000, but we also had the PPP loan, which helped offset that difference. Total assets was 72,446 at the end of August. And well, are there any questions with those financials? Did anyone have any questions in reviewing them? Okay. So the budget versus actual through August for this fiscal year, we are at a total income of, I'm missing that. Is this backwards, Rose?
It's backwards, yeah. I just
Okay. Sorry, I didn't look at this set of financials. I looked at the original set that you sent for, sorry, didn't see that. Excuse me, total income through August was 188,402, and our budget for the year is 276. So we're short, shy of that budget by 88,000. Or said another way, we are at 68% of our goal for the year. And for the expenses, we are at total expenses of 174,235. Our budget for the year is 275,800. So we're shy of our budget by 101,000, or said another way, we're at 63% of our expenses. So that's a good thing. Any questions with regards to where we are budget wise? We're over income, we're short expenses, we're doing good.
Okay. Are we tracking? So we're 88,000 shy of our yearly goal. Are we tracking to then get that by the end of the year? What's the projection, or what is the thought?
We have months that kind of ebb and flow. We're doing pretty well, and since then we've actually since the end of that month we've actually done really well in bringing that up. But I always monitor how much we're how much we're bringing in, and kind of adjust as much as I can our expenditures so that we don't have a huge shortfall, where I know in the past that was an issue.
Sure. And I know this year, like the previous year, is a interesting year. Do we feel like we're going to bring in that 88,000, or will we be short, do we think, or are we going to be over?
It's hard to pinpoint exactly, but I think that we'll be pretty close. Okay. I think that we'll be pretty close with that. If you can see on here, if you look at the numbers of like new applications, how much we're budgeted for 5, we have 2, the Idex applications, we budgeted for 40, we're at 36. So when you look at, and then, for path 3 and 4, we're 11 and 11. So when you look at it that way, you can kind of gauge, what areas we might have shortfalls and windfalls. We have had a few people in the last week or 2 that have come back from being delinquent, so that's helpful, and that adds to it. So I think that we're going to be pretty close by the end of the year.
Great.
Any other questions? Don't take my job, George. All right.
All right. Compliance.
Thank you.
Report. Thank you, Christiana. We're at the compliance report section. Carly, you're on.
Just 1 second. Bhutan, I sent you the links. Did you get them? I texted them to
on my cell phone, actually. No.
Okay, they should be coming through. All right, for the compliance report, as of September of this year, our total current number of CIDs is 1,656. Our no longer active CIDs are at 3,411, with a total delinquent being 385. So the total number certified is 5,452. For a further breakdown of that, like I said, we have 385 delinquent. 89 of those became delinquent in this year. We have 1 person on a payment plan. 1,343 have expired, and 45 of those have expired this year. We have 311 that have resigned, and 43 of those were for business reasons. 212 of them because they moved, and 56 were just requested. So our total retired is 1,688. Our total emeritus status is 68. Total deceased is 69, for the total current of 1,656 and 3,411 total no longer active. And then for the next page,
before you go on, Carly, is there any questions from the board on that? Does it make sense? Okay, sorry, Carly, go ahead.
No worries. Then for the Idex report, for the October window, the October testing window, we had 47 applications received this year. 12 of them have been approved and certified. We have 13 path 2s that are just pending payment. So they're approved, but they just need to make their initial payment. We have 52 path 1s that are pending compliance. So those are the people that still need work experience. So we have 207 that are pending examination. 43 of those we need additional documentation. 53 of those are fails that have yet to reschedule for the new testing window. 6 of them are no-shows that have yet to reschedule. And we have 67 that are just yet to schedule. We have 38 currently scheduled for the IDEX exam for the month of October. And then we have 47 candidates that have applied and 38 that have registered.
Right, and you can see there that May results as well, how we did with that. 33 applied, 32 registered, 1 transferred, 1 not attending. That didn't make sense. Candidates attended 31, 23 passed, so that's a 74% rate. 8 fails, and 4 of those need to reschedule. Okay. George, next.
Yes. Well, we had our Q&A, sorry. Marketing. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Before you go to marketing, if you want to do question and answer from the, if there's any questions and answers from the.
We don't currently have any open questions, but if anybody has questions, go ahead and type it in there.
In the Q&A.
Or they can raise their hand and we can allow them to ask briefly.
Absolutely. Any guests have any questions that they want to pose to the board?
All right.
All right.
I think we can move on.
Let's move on to marketing and outreach. So Rose and I met and spoke a little bit about marketing and coming up with some ideas for marketing, and Rose, feel free to chime in here. So one thing that we discussed is we want to make sure that we're reaching out to the schools and really relying on the educators so that we can get in front of the students and share the importance of becoming a CID. Another thing that we want to also do is to develop CEUs for the new codes coming out, so that we can provide webinars to our CIDs to provide some value there. Rose, do you want to talk about the 30th anniversary?
Certainly. Next year will be 30 years of CCIDC in existence. Technically, this year was 30 years of certification, but the first CIDs didn't come into effect until 92. So we're going to celebrate 30 years next year. We will be doing some marketing material for that, sending information out, updating our website. And we are kind of thinking of some promotions that might go along with that, as far as like our coupon codes, different things to try and get people interested in learning that we've been around for 30 years. So we're excited for that. We will have a new logo put up as well that denotes our 30-year anniversary. As far as the classes, the webinars, we have been in touch with ICC. They're going to help us create some webinars for our CIDs to update them on the code. So that will be coming directly from the people who create the code. So that's always a helpful bit of information.
Yeah, and I mean, this, doing these CEUs, this would be a great outreach for us, for ASID, ICAA, and NKBA, any other organizations, to be able to offer them information on the code changes and how it applies to interior designers. So
definitely.
Awesome. And then Rose, do you want to touch on the NKBA showcase?
Sure. One thing, ICC next year, or not ICC, sorry, Calbo next year will be having, they will be having their annual business meeting. They're kind of doing it in a hybrid sense. So we will be involved with that next year. We weren't able to do it this year because we weren't sure if they were going to have it or not. So when they finally decided to, we hadn't budgeted for it. So we will be participating next year, and I think it'll be informative for the building officials to understand that we've been around for 30 years. The NKBA showcase, when we get invited to go speak or be exhibitors at different events like this, we try and do that. So we'll be going on October 12th in San Diego to the NKBA showcase there. If any other, organizations are interested in having us join or be exhibitors, we're glad to do that. But this has a lot of students that come out, a lot of designers, but more students come out to this, because I know there's some professors in the area that will give extra credit for this. So we do make a lot of great connections here. So
yeah, and you know, one thing that would be helpful is that if there are any organizations that are doing like a student career forum, I know ASID used to do that, but if there is a way for us to get in front of those students in you know, a similar situation where we could buy a table and get out there and talk to students about the importance of being a CID. I think that would be very beneficial. So if anybody here in this meeting, any of our board or guests know of any events coming up, please reach out to Rose and let her know so that we can get involved for sure.
right. And starting in November, we're going to have regular marketing committee meetings. So anyone who's interested in being participating with that, any CIDs are welcome to join. If you have ideas, we love to hear them. So we will be sending out notifications to let you know when that starts. We have some other meetings that are going to be starting soon too. So we'll be sending information out on those.
Awesome. Thank you. So should we move on to correspondence?
Yes.
Okay.
This is just information that we've received that might be interesting. The California Building Standards Commission, they let us know when changes are made, updates are made. So this is just information. This is September 3rd through October 18th is the public comment period on the code changes and things that are being made. So there's information on that. If anybody would like this information, I'm happy to pass it along so they can't see this. Happy to send it.
Question from Ryan Sherman.
Rainey?
Rainey, yes.
Hang on.
Yes, hello.
Hi, Rainey, you're there.
Doubling back to outreach. Can you bring us up to date on the Calbo committee? I want to remind the board that it was a year ago this meeting that I inquired about it. I haven't heard a thing about it for a year. So perhaps you guys need to step up your communication with those of us who are interested in these kinds of things.
Right, and I believe I did send you an email, Rainey, but we're going to have another section where we discuss that. But yes,
Well, fine. No, if you're going to have another section, then I'll wait for my comments then.
No worries. Thank you. Okay. Besides the Building Standards Commission, and again, I can forward that information. Things are changing with USBC. They sent us some information on the board and some changes that are going on there. Thought this information would be good for the board to see. What else do we have? I think that's it for correspondence that we have. So back to you, George.
Awesome. So chair's message. Wow, this is me. Well, so what I'm going to say is I just want to remind everyone that we have an open board position. We are in search of a public member to join the board. Ideally, we would love to have somebody that's an attorney or has a law background. We feel that that would be very beneficial to our board. So if anybody in this meeting has that background, knows somebody with that background that would like to be a part of our board. I know many law firms want their attorneys to sit on nonprofit boards. So if you have a business attorney, a personal attorney, if you can reach out to them, that would be awesome. And then you can either introduce them to Rose or give Rose a call and she can always reach out to them.
And if anybody's interested in to be a public member that is not an attorney, you know, we'll accept anyone who's really interested in working with us and doing a good job. But we are kind of looking, yes, for an attorney if possible.
Yeah. And this public member is somebody that is not a CID, that is not an interior designer.
Correct.
So this is not another design professional per se.
No.
So,
no.
Great. That's kind of all that I have to report on, really. Should we go into any other Q&A?
Anybody else have any questions? Any of the audience so far?
I don't see any questions posed, so.
Okay.
No questions so far, and Rainey has his hand raised. Oh,
right.
Not anymore.
Just a question. I noticed that the IIDA board seat is vacant. Is that to be filled as well?
We actually have some candidates that we're going to be discussing with. We're actually interviewing the candidates. So as soon as we have information on that, we'll be posting that. But it's been open and there's already people that have been applied for it.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? All right.
All right. Unfinished business. This is a big one. Rose, do you want to talk about the sunset review?
Sure. We were not sure whether or not we would be doing our sunset review starting this year or not. As you know, last year with COVID in the throes of things, we were pushed off for another year. Generally, we receive our questionnaire early to mid-August. We did not receive it. I had contacted our representatives and had not heard back until earlier this week when they sent our questionnaire. So we'll be starting the process to do our sunset review. I'm not certain of the timeline. In the past, our questionnaire has been due in like end of September, beginning of October area. And then we have our hearings in March. I don't know the timeline yet. They haven't said anything because they've asked us to return the questionnaire by January. So that's a little deviation from the past. So we'll find out exactly when we'll be doing the sunset review hearings, and we'll definitely be posting that information and looking for support for that. So we're starting that process. Do you want me to speak about the Idex exam too?
Sure.
We have been for the last 2 years working on a review and revision of the Idex exam. We were fortunate to have ICC handling the codes portion for the majority of the things. We had a lot of building officials, including some from Los Angeles, that worked on the Idex exam questions. The nice thing is when the code changes in January, the same group of subject matter experts from ICC will be reviewing the code's questions to make sure everything's still valid, updated, and updating all of the references to that. So it's been great to couple with them on that. It's been a long process. We're still in that process. That's kind of why I want to say some of the things that we have done, like the building department, have seemed to go by the wayside, which they haven't. We've just been doing things a little bit behind the scenes, but between the IDEX and some other things going on, we've really been focusing on getting that done because it had to be done to roll out for October 1st, the October 1st meeting session or testing section. So as many people on the board can attest to, it's been a lot of hours. It's been a lot of grueling different procedures. It's wonderful to learn, but it's also very, very labor intensive.
It's very labor intensive and it's very time consuming. And I want to say thank you to those that participated, those on the board, those, I don't know if any guests here were ones that were chosen to participate, but it was a lot of time. It was a huge commitment, and we appreciate everybody doing it and to taking it so seriously with the commitment that they did. So thank you.
Yeah, and we had 95 questions, I believe, that were changed or updated or changed in one way or another. And part of those are in the actual exam, and part of those are in the 500 question item bank. But a lot of things had to be definitely updated. We took out some things that referred to, like, you know, phone booths and things like different things like that. But it really, the update is amazing. Looking over everything. And even I will say the building officials that were involved were pretty amazed at how extensive the exam was.
Yeah.
So
a lot of those comments from them.
Yes, and I'd like to have one of or two of them come and speak at the next meeting. They were not available for this meeting, so we will be doing our best to arrange them to come to the next meeting to kind of give you their viewpoint. So, and that brings us to the LADBS situation that we've been working with. Like I said, some of this has kind of been pushed to the backbone as far as having the actual meetings because of, number one, the change in with George and Ed being gone. That was kind of part of this situation. The Idex exam was another part of it. But that doesn't mean that we're not working with them. It doesn't mean that we're not doing things behind the scenes. We attend every single ICC LA Basin chapter meeting. We've made a lot of connections there. We've asked a lot of questions. Ara, he's from Burbank, a building official from Burbank. He actually was one of the members on our the ICC subject matter experts, and he got up and spoke to the board. He was, I believe, president last term, but he spoke to the board about just how important certification is, just how much value that we have. And he also said, if you're not accepting their plans, that you need to be. So I think things like that are still steps forward. We still are involved with CalBO. We still attend meetings and backdoor things with them, but it may not have been able, the time frame for us to have the meetings that we had agreed that we wanted to do. So now that the IDEX is rolling down, we can focus our efforts on the things that have not been specifically handled in the manner that we stated last year that we would. Is that correct, George?
Yes.
Anybody else have any comments about that? I know, Rainey, you'll have questions for it, but we do still work with CalBO. We still communicate with them. We still are attending ICC chapter meetings in Los Angeles, San Diego, Orange County. George is going to be working on the Northern California area meetings. Fortunately, most of them are still in Zoom format, so being able to attend them is much easier than it was previously.
Yeah, and I mean, I would also open this up to anyone that is on this meeting. If you have any interest on attending these meetings and then reporting back, let us know.
Mm-hmm. Rainey has a question.
Well, as you all know, a united front is more important. Individual members attending ICC meetings is helpful, but the united front, showing a united front from CCIDC as an educational issue, as you guys well know, is the most important thing. So I would hope that we are forming some kind of strategy on what a certified interior designer can submit and what is not submittable. And there was a lot of work done on that a lot of years ago that I hope you still have the archives of, because
yes.
it's still valuable today.
Yes.
Of where our position was some years ago. And I hope that hasn't changed, because it was the right position.
No, and we do definitely have a united front, and CalBO knows for a fact that we provide the united front. Attending meetings in locations that are best for the different board members doesn't mean that we don't provide a united front there. They are very aware. And we are also continuing to have, I'm sorry, the meetings prior to the sunset review. We'll be having some more stakeholder meetings. So those have definitely been focused on the language changes that we would like to do and the strengthening of our bill. So that's all of the things that we are doing behind the scenes. So
well, again, as you all know, a lot of building departments accept our plans. And that goes to the work that the board has done over the years, of course. But there are 2 or 3 notable building departments that are problems. And they happen to be the major urban areas where a lot of us work. And it's just mind-numbing that when we walk in, not recently, but when we submit plans, we're not respected as a level playing field professional. Right. And that to me is the whole point of the outreach and education to CalBO, and somehow change the minds of San Francisco and Los Angeles and San Jose.
Right. That is something we still continue to work on. We have some, I don't want to say issues, but some of the things that are happening is a vast majority of the building officials that have been around for years are retiring in droves. And there's a lot of new faces and not a lot of new people. And that's a lot of new education that we're continuing to do. We've had a couple of people from Los Angeles and the Northern California areas that have come to us with plan check denials. And it was a matter of speaking with the actual building official, reminding them who we are, what we do, and them having to educate their staff because those people were new and they didn't necessarily know who we were. So it is still education, and there's a lot of it having to go on because of the new faces, the new people. But when the people that are there that do know are very willing to step up and say that we're allowed to do things. So it is ongoing education, and we are very committed to doing that.
Yeah, Rose, as you know, it's an ongoing process. It's as you've stated, because there are always new faces at the building department, always.
Definitely. But it just, in the last couple of years, and they report on this at the ICC meetings, the number, it's like something like 74% of the people are being turned out in different areas. I mean, it was a staggering number. Wow. I mean, just because they're retirement age and things happening. So the number was staggering, but again, that's something that you learn at the meetings, and being able to present and participate and network is very valuable. And I suggest to any certified interior designer who wants to work with the building officials to attend an ICC meeting in their local area. And we have the information available for you on those because you do get to network, and they do get to see your face, and they do learn. Julissa Garcia, who is a CID in San Diego, she started attending the meeting. She's now on the ICC San Diego Board of Directors. So she's definitely made it a difference there, and she's learning a lot. So she's really being able to help out, but that's just because we told her that joining these meetings are important. So again, we cannot stress the importance to certified interior designers. If you want to network and get to see building officials face to face on a monthly basis, join your local ICC chapter, and you will definitely, things will definitely benefit you. Okay.
Great. Anything else on that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
David Wagner is raising his hand.
Oh, David.
We're going to briefly let you speak.
If I hear the word briefly one more time, I'm out of here. Right? Let's be fair, okay? I agree with Rainey, but I think a one-prong approach right now would help. Rather than going after LA and San Francisco, which we've not done well with, let's be honest about it, I would hit on San Jose big, and they're larger than San Francisco is right now, all right? They're like the 3rd largest city in the whole state. So if you did a concentrated effort on one entity, then maybe the other 2 will fall in line, rather than trying to do all 3 at one time. That's just a thought.
Okay, thank you. That's good information, David. Thank you. Appreciate that. San Jose is in a very important area, definitely. David, do you want to speak again? No. Okay. We can definitely look at focusing our efforts. One thing that is benefiting us with CalBO is they have a new new government liaison person there, and it's much easier to speak with that person and deal with that person because he really does know the areas and is able to understand a lot more than of things that we've been trying to work with in the past. But the board can definitely decide or talk about how we focus it. And when we start, we will definitely start those meetings. Again, we need to get through this IDEX exam revision before we can focus our areas on other areas. George?
You know, and sorry, Rose, just what you just said about Calbo having a new government liaison person is maybe we need to have a few people and we set up a Zoom meeting with that person to
Definitely
introduce themselves, share some of our concerns, find out how we can work together to resolve them and make a larger impact.
Definitely.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. Anything else on unfinished business or any other questions? All right.
I have no other open questions.
Perfect. Let's move on to new business. Rose, I'm going to ask you to handle this one too. Sorry.
No worries. We under new business, we received a message from one of our CIDs who's from Northern California. So CID is listed, or CSI, sorry, is listed as one of our program sponsors. They have a certification type testing. Let's see, I believe anyhow, they want us to include the CSI national examinations in with the examinations that we accept. And so I wanted to bring this before the board. Not that I don't think that it's valuable, but most of the things that these national exams are focused on are construction contract, construction specifier, and construction product representatives. So I don't know how well that fits in with the national exams that we're accepting, but it's definitely open up for discussion that we can then move on to at our next meeting, make a motion if we see that that's something that would fit within the requirements.
I think that's relevant to the practice of interior design for certain segments of our industry. It's not everybody in design that it's relevant to, but I think it is relevant for specialties within design.
Right, and that, you know, we have like NKBA and LEED and those other things that also represent certain that, you know, so if this is an underserved population, that maybe we should look more into it.
I think it's worth looking into
to
understand it a little bit more and see if it's relevant and would be beneficial. You know, definitely I'm in agreement with what Deborah says, that maybe this would serve an aspect of our CID community.
Wonderful.
There are full-time interior designers who work solely as specifiers, so there's no reason not to include them under our tent, if you will.
Wonderful. Okay, well,
right. So this really has to do with, like, do these tests offer enough that we would accept them as,
yes. Okay.
So then what would the next steps be on this?
We can definitely, I would invite Jay to speak with the board, and also we can do the research on what all it entails. We do list CSI as one of our CEU providers, so we can learn from them a little bit more about the testing, and then see how that would fit in, if it would be qualifying or not for the. Rainey has a question.
I've been a CSI member for 25 years, maybe even 30 years. It's just as long as I've been a CID in the Los Angeles chapter. There's nothing in those exams about design. It's all about specifications. So as an example, AIA does not accept CSI as a precursor to the AIA exam. So be very careful with what you're studying here. I value my membership in CSI. I get a lot out of it, but it has nothing to do with CID in my view.
Okay, that's good information for us, Rainey. Thank you. We'll definitely take that into consideration. Do you have more questions? Your still hands back up.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay. No worries. Just making sure. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, let's open it up once again for any questions. Actually, why don't we open it up for questions and any comments, since we're about to adjourn our meeting. This was a very short meeting before we start our closed session. So anyone, any of our guests have any questions, comments that they would like to share? I see David's hand is up.
Oh, there he is. I didn't see you, David.
Just a couple of quickies. When are we going to go back to real meetings, not on Zoom?
In person?
Yeah.
In-person meetings. Really and truly, that depends on how the whole state goes. Our goal is to always have the annual meeting in person, but if things aren't open up, what happened with us this year was the places that we looked at having the in-person meeting at, we're not accepting meetings. So we need to make sure that everything's open enough and people are comfortable enough to have the meetings in person. We would love to see all of you face to face, definitely. So that's our goal, is to, by the next year's annual meeting, which would be in June, that we'd be able to have an in-person meeting again. What we've been told is doing Zoom meetings, that we have more people that attend, more people that can attend. So whatever we do, we will always do some sort of hybrid. If we're doing it in person, we'll still do Zoom so people can still be involved.
Yeah, and you know, David, you know, there's a financial aspect to this too, right? So when we meet in person, there are flights that have to be, you know, covered by CCIDC for the board members that live out of town. So actually doing these Zooms has actually saved us quite a bit of money. So, you know, the board may decide that we may want to sort of split between in-person and Zoom. We may want to have some meetings in Southern California, some meetings in Northern California. So that will all need to be considered. But yeah, I mean, I think we would all be excited to be back in person. And
my second question, and thank you, George. My second question is, you know, let's call it our competition, for lack of a better word, the one who's always causing aggravation in our industry. I understand they got a state back east to pass licensing and all that. Can you update us on what is happening with that other outfit as compared to us? I forget their initials. I think you know who I'm talking about.
Our board president is a former president of ASID, so he's with that. We don't have an IIDA representative at the moment. We're working on that, but bills that work in certain states don't always work here in California. We've been watching to see what those, and are you talking about New York or Pennsylvania, Dave?
Yeah, one of them back there, but what I'm, who was the organization that, you know, that, I just can't remember their initials.
I believe that the bill was put out by ASID.
ASID, yeah.
But again, what happens in one state doesn't always fall over. We are watching those things to make sure what's happening here. But if you look at the actual bill, what they are and are not allowed to do, even as a licensed designer, is still less than what we can do here as a certified interior designer. So just because they have licensing doesn't mean it allows them to do everything that we would like it to do otherwise. But we do monitor those things.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Rosendo, you have a question as well? Rosendo?
Sorry.
Unmute.
Hold on.
Hi, there you are.
Yeah, do I stay on for the 2 hours for the I really like the idea of doing this, actually, like you guys were talking about, having these available. But for the 2 hour, is it to?
No, and we provide up to 2 hours because sometimes our meetings go for 2 hours, sometimes they go for an hour. So it depends on how long the meeting is. If the meeting's only an hour, we're going to give you credit. So it's up to 2 hours. We'll give you credit for if it's only an hour, we'll give you credit for an hour.
Okay, so then I just submit it on the website, right?
We will send an email to everyone who's attended because we get a report from Zoom who's attended, how long they attended. If you just sign in and you leave, we know that sort of thing. So we'll be sending you the code that you'll need to put in to get your credit for your thing, and that happens by Monday. You'll have it by Monday.
Okay, so it won't be 2 hours. I could log off after this 1 hour.
Yes, you can.
Let us know.
Yes, as soon as we.
You don't have to stay on and there's nothing happening.
All right.
And yeah, thank you so much for everything, all the information. It's great to know.
Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate everyone who's come and given their time to us.
You're welcome. It's great.
Okay.
Well, any other questions, comments?
We have questions from Nancy, actually.
Oh, yes, Nancy's asking, how will we be notified of webinars, classes on the codes changes? So we will obviously be sending out emails to our CIDs, letting them know when we have these webinars.
We send out emails. If you've not signed up for the e-news, please do so, because that's our main source of contacting everyone. But we also put it out throughout our social media, and we will be putting it on the website as well. So whenever we have that information, it will be in the 3 different places through the e-news, the social media, which is we have 3 platforms, I believe. We have LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. So we'll send it out through all those. And again, we'll be putting it on our, like, I hope people saw today, we had the board meeting on the homepage of the website. So we'll be doing things like that again.
Great. All right. I think it's time to adjourn this meeting. This was such a quick, easy meeting. Wow, thank you, everyone. All right, is this something that I do, Rose, or would?
Yeah, board chair to motion.
Oh, perfect. I make a motion to adjourn this meeting at 10:59 a.m. I need a second.
I second that.
Awesome, perfect. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Perfect. Any abstentions? Great. All right. Well, we are adjourning our meeting and we will enter our closed session. Again, thank you to everyone, all of our guests here today. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your presence and we look forward to having you join us next time. And our next meeting is January, correct, Rose?
January, I believe, like the 22nd, and that's on the website as well. So
that is, yeah.
Yes, under board meetings.
Great.
Wonderful.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Okay, if you want to take a couple minutes to stretch and get going, then we could start we'll start it at what,
Like
11:10? 5 after? Okay, that's fine.
Or do you guys want 10 after? Either is fine with me. I know
Patricia needs to leave it.
Yeah.
12.
Let's do 5 after.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Rose, who seconded
the believe it was Karen.
Okay, thank you.
Or Karen. She says Karen. My cousin is Karen, who spells it exactly the same way, but I believe she's Karen.
Okay, it's Karen. All right.
Yes. Hutan, my friend.
How are you doing?
Where have you been?
Oh my God. It's been so crazy. We share office with another architect, is Horst Architect. And 3 months ago, he was hacked, the server, by some hackers from Russia.
Oh my goodness.
And, it was really bad, and they ask for money and those stuff. And then we got hacked from Ukraine, and again we got hacked again a week ago by another hacker from Russia, and it's getting so crazy. I don't know what's going on.
Do you have, I mean, who do you have for like security?
We have a person that have a huge security on their server, and the attempt to attack the server, it's almost 100 times a day, and this
Yeah.
locked.
We get that too, but we have like site lock, and I'm gonna knock on wood right here.
Something that our IT guy, they put it there. We have two actually IT guy, one hardware, one software, but it was crazy.
Yeah, because we had gotten hacked a couple times when we first put the new website up, and since we have site lock, I'm happy to say that we haven't had any of the issues that we had previously. So that might be something he might look into.
Yes, but it's bad. It's one thing happened, then 1 month you're just fixing, and again, one simple thing happens, and again,
you're
always behind with all these projects. You cannot convince the clients, oh, oops, we got hacked from Russia.
Look, here's the demands right here. Okay, I'm gonna move this down here. Oh, no, I'm not. I lied. I'm a liar. Did all of you, were you able to access the closed session file?
Rose, is it just the emails?
Yeah, that's really what they've sent.
I read that email. Yes, I talked to Carly.
There's another one that we'll go over too. I think we kind of talked about it earlier, but let's see here. Sorry. Put this up here. Closed session.
Rose, is that the file with like 20 attachments or so?
There's two folders. One of them is CID 7100, and the other one is the 915 complaint letter. The 7100 is what we're going to review first, and I'm going to get the complaint up so everybody can see it. Okay, I'll go over and share my screen. All right. That's the complaint, and then we can talk a little bit about it. I'm going to step off for just a second. Oh, you can see my shorts. Sorry, guys. It's my mullet outfit. Business on the top, party on the bottom.
I love it. Okay.
So the firm is, Deborah's not back. We'll give her a second. Carly, if you want to go, you can go.
Okay, thank you.
Go home.
Carly. Are you at the office?
Yes.
Yes, I am at the office. I have two little ones at home that would butt into the meeting.
That's okay. They could join in next time.
Have a good Saturday, guys.
You too. Thank you for everything. Linda, are you here with us?
Sorry, I'm on mute. Yes, I read everything.
I just want to make sure. Okay, good. So yeah, I put the I have put the complaint up here. Basically, the person contacted us because she said that Diane Zora, I believe is her last name, had violated the code of ethics.
And she was on the meeting today. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I told her she could stay on for the session, but
gotcha.
She did not. I'm going to move you guys over here so I can look at you. Anyhow, the impression that I have gotten from reading both of the complaints and the responses, and from speaking with Diane directly, she did her due diligence. Again, this is my professional opinion as far as I can give a professional opinion. She did her due diligence. She understood that there was somebody working on the project prior to her working on it. And she read the contract between the two people, the owner and that person. And she ensured that that person was paid completely and was completely off of the project before she even started the project. So she was doing her due diligence in that manner. She was given a set of plans. The contract states that the owner owns the once the project is complete or the contract is complete with the person who filed the complaint, that the building owner, whoever they're doing it with, he is the one that owns the plans, not the previous, I believe she's an architect. Samar is her name. So the building owner owns the plans, Samar does not. And
I have a question.
Yes.
Was the project submitted or not?
So apparently, when the architect submitted the plans,
But then submitted the plan.
the first time the architect had submitted the plans, there were a lot of things. It got kicked back and rejected for a lot of issues. And I think that that's at the time when the owner of the building realized that this wasn't going to work out. There were so many problems and issues with the plans that it wasn't going to work. And so the owner wanted to find somebody else to do the project. And that's when the termination of that architect started to happen.
Okay, then did he or she, the interior designer, ask city to write the release of liability to change the design professional on board? Who's going to be the architect of record when interior designer submitted again?
I did not ask that question. That's a good question. It's something I can see if I can contact Diane. And
when somebody submit, for example, any design professional submit a drawing to the city, then no matter what, according to the city and law, he or she is a design professional of the record. They're gonna say designer of the record, architect of record, of engineer of record.
Okay.
This happened on the second round. Nobody else can submit it unless the letter of the release of liability issued from the city, from the owner, and send it to the original architect.
Okay.
If he didn't do that, then yes, it's illegal.
Let me look at the response and see if that was in there.
To be honest, I did the same thing 1 month ago. It was an architectural firm that worked on some projects, and that stamp and architects, this was expired. I talked to building official, and he said, okay, because it was expired, the stamp was expired and the permit was expired, you can do that. But there is another tweak to it. It's really, really teeny line. You cannot just have the same drawing and stamp it. We have the drawing and we changed the layout. We just scrambled because then it's not the original. Then I had a go-ahead green light from building official Laguna Beach. They said, okay, release of liability, and then I stamp the drawing and submit it.
Okay.
So even Hutan, even though this was just a city review that they submitted,
yes,
that would still require a release of liability, is what you're
because
saying.
when you
Okay.
first submit to the city, is gone. The drawings and the project is locked with the original
I
person.
see. Okay.
Okay, I'm asking Diane to join us.
Perfect. Thank you.
Who is Diana?
She
Diane is the person whose the complaint is against.
Okay. But I see it. She didn't even touch the drawing, just eliminated and put the stamp. That's kind of copyright thing.
If you look in the things that Diane submitted, her plans are not the same. What Samar has been sending shows the same sort of thing. What Diane had, hold on.
Rose, your link in the binder does not open to anything, at least not for me, unless I'm just, hold on, let me see if I can open it.
Okay.
I'm gonna see.
The owner needs to fire the architect.
Right, and the owner did that. The owner fired them and terminated the contract.
Then it's bingo.
Yeah, because it says that, here's Diane's response. March of 2021, Vincent from Contola and Associates reached out to me regarding the STP plan check comments for a multifamily project in El Cajon. Vincent informed me that the previous architect, Samar Dagwood, had prepared preliminary drawings that were submitted to the city of El Cajon. According to Vincent, Samar was not responding to the client, so the contract was terminated. Since the contractor was terminated, Samar delivered all of the work that she completed to the client, and I confirmed with Vincent that Samar was paid in full for the work that was completed. Under note number 2, Samar's contracts, it states, in the event of termination, all work done by the architect at the time of termination shall be delivered to the client, and the architect shall be paid his compensation for services performed to termination date. There are no clauses in Samar's contract stating ownership of the documents by the architect. Additionally, I confirmed with Vincent that Samar was paid in full. Based on this, the client has ownership of the files and has the right to work with another designer to complete the project.
Who had the cat fight?
Pardon?
Who had the cat fight, original cat fight? Because Diane cannot.
It's Samar and Vincent that have the issue. And throughout everything, if you read it, Samar's issue is with Vincent. She says he didn't pay her. He says she did. He said, you know, I believe that Diane's part in this, she did her due diligence, was doing according to what she knows to do. The issue that Samar has is her, you know, using her plans or whatever. This all relies on Vincent. And I've asked Samar several times, you need to have a conversation with Vincent about your payment and what you say didn't happen and the ownership of the documents. And she is, to this date, has not, and she hasn't responded recently to the request for information. So again,
I have there is another stamp on the drawing. Who's that stamp? On the title block.
I don't know who that is.
Because there is one stamp, it says Samar Dawood Architect, and then on the right hand side I see another round stamp, and then CCID stamp. Cannot happen.
Yeah, I don't think that that did happen, and I'm trying to find
because I usually my company facing tons of these cases that the architect is fired and we are on board. One of the biggest projects that we are working now is a Hotel Laguna.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest architect firm was fired, architect of Orange. And now we are on board. That's why this thing is really on the borderline. We have to be really careful, educate our CIDs for overlapping, because they are like a wounded wolf. When they,
Right.
especially when the huge project is out of their hand.
Here's another one that was okay. So this is, I believe Vincent was responding to Samara, telling her, this is more information here. That's exhibit 1 under response 3. I tried to do it in order so you 839 could see where it started.
Confused a little bit.
I wonder if I'm going to open my email here and see if I can open that other thing that was sent, because I don't know if that PDF was.
Oh, a civil engineer.
Oh, it's a symbol.
Yes,
okay.
That's the Bashir.
Oh, I need to see if
No, that's it. No, that's a problem. Oh, actually,
I'm not able to open up any of these files, but I guess if you have them on screen.
Are you didn't, the link isn't letting you in at all?
No, and even when I copy and paste it, it gives me a 404 error.
Okay, I need to invite. Oh, crap. This is.
okay, I got it. This project is called, I think the civil engineer is hired by CID. Because
okay, so CID, she's the one who.
Because I have the case. I have mechanical, electrical, plumbing engineer under my control.
Okay, hang on just a second, guys. I gotta get, Diane is trying to get in, so.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop sharing for a second here. Apologize that this is taking so long.
It's fine.
I'm going to invite her to join us this way. Sorry, 2 screens doesn't work for me. I'm still learning this whole how to move between one and DH. D8. I'm trying to type in one and my thing is on the other. So DHC. All right, so let me reply to her and then we should be good. Let's see if we can get her on. Okay.
She's connected.
Oh, participants. I see more people. Okay.
Hello, this is Diane.
Hi, Diane. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Hold on one second here. I'm going to make you a co-host. Thank you for joining us. We're reviewing the information that you sent to us. And the board has a few questions. Hutan, do you want to ask Diane the question?
What was that? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good morning, good. Now, I have some questions for you. Who originally submitted the drawing to the city?
This was done by Vincent Catula, the person that I was contracted with.
He submitted the first set of plans, or did Samar?
So it's my understanding that Vincent did.
Okay.
Like he's the one who actually submitted the files to the county, to the city.
And then the architect of record was him, right?
No, he's not an architect. He's the owner's rep.
Oh, but who was the
architect?
Oh,
was Samar listed as the architect on file?
Yes.
Okay, then he is the architect of record according to the city when he first submitted, right?
Yes.
And then when you took over the project, did you or did the owner sign the letter of the release of liability from the original designer or architect or engineer of record?
The owner's rep told me that they terminated the contract and that they had ownership of the files.
Okay.
That's all they told me. I don't know if anything was signed.
You have the documents that they said it, right?
Yes. And I forward some of those documents
Sure.
to you guys.
What kind of documents did you receive? It was a CAT file or PDF?
I received both.
Okay, great. And then you will start working on it and you complete the project.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I've seen some of your files that there are two stamps on it. One engineer, one is yours.
Yes. Why what?
Why two stamps on one drawing?
I guess my stamp wasn't needed on the drawings, but I just put it on there just so that they knew that there was a designer helping them, because the engineer stamp is a civil and structural engineer. So I just thought maybe that they needed to know that there was a designer working on this and helping them. Because this was just for a planning permit. It's not a building permit.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Don't have any questions.
Does anybody else have any questions for Diane? Hang on just a second here. George, I'm resending this folder to you.
Sure thing. Yeah. Just we were discussing earlier if the architect had submitted a letter to the city releasing, releasing their.
Or the owner should do that, correct?
Correct. Do you know if any of that happened?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Would the city would have to, so because the architect, their stamp wasn't on the final drawings, the city should have requested that? Is that what you're saying?
No, the original drawing, when it goes to the city, because it's the same thing that you did happen to our company, and I did stamp the drawing of some other architects. But there is really thin line that all of us need to be careful that who originally submitted, and it's the building official or the city, they are okay to just release the liability because they don't want to have a lawsuit for the city, because originally I know 100% that the architect was fired by the owner, but as far as the city knows, the first person, CID or architect or engineer that submit the first time, they have legal, just rephrase it, they are design professional of the record according to their eyes. And it's really important that the city knows that they don't have any control over these legal documents. That's the only portion, but the way that you did was not wrong. Yes, of course, the owner has a drawing. It's happened to me as well. They gave us some other architects' drawings. I took over it and I modify it, and I talked to the city that I need to get rid of the original designer, and the city approved it. It was 2-3 years after this fact, and then I stamped the drawing and I submitted. But there's one important portion. Legally, by the state, we cannot have 2 stamps on one drawing because each one has a liability. Now it doesn't show who is liable. For example, if I have a mechanical, electrical, plumbing engineer, and I hire them to do our project, if there is other stamp, engineer called me, would you please delete your stamp? Because if something legally happened, now who is liable as far as the insurance or error of omission of the project is going to be on whose shoulder? But if you don't need to have your stamp, don't put it. You can just add it to the title block, designer, Diana.
Right.
But if you put your stamp, this stamp is really, really important as far as the liability issue. And then usually 2 stamps never happen. That's why that was one point that you need to be careful. But the way that you did was completely correct. But a small issue is the release of liability if you submit it to city. And you're lucky because you said this is planning. But for the building, please eliminate your stamp or talk to the city. They need to release the original architect, and then you can stamp the drawing.
Yeah, so I'm no longer on this project.
I'm sorry?
I'm no longer working on this project. Though I just helped them with the planning. They just called me and said that their previous architect was not responding and she didn't know how to respond to the comments and that they weren't working with her anymore. So they asked me to take over. So I kind of did it as a favor for them, like just to help them out to get the planning permit. I was like, I didn't finish the project. I just was doing this to help them out. And I also, the reason why I put my stamp is because her stamp was on the drawings and I didn't want it to look like I was trying to be her. So I wanted to make sure that they knew it was somebody else. Like I wanted the city to know that I wasn't trying to take her drawings and pretend like I was her. So that's another reason why I put the stamp. But I completely understand what you're saying, and the whole liability thing all makes sense. And I'm definitely going to be very careful moving forward.
Yes, please, because the thing is, we are triggering architects a lot because tons of times happen that the owner fired the architects and hired us because of the quality of our project, and that they are getting upset. They are so angry that what we're doing, and if we are not careful about just one step wrong, we are gone.
Yeah.
They're gonna just come after you.
Okay.
And
Diane, I understand. I understand, Diane, how it's a situation that doesn't come up for a designer every 5 minutes. So I don't know that most designers would have known how to handle it.
Yeah.
We're lucky that we have someone on the board who has experience with that exact thing multiple times, but I don't think for every designer it's going to come up very often.
Yeah, and I'm very thankful that this happened. You know, I obviously don't want any issues, but this is a learning lesson. So I to avoid it and to make sure that I'm extra careful, that's how I'm taking it.
Yeah, lesson 101, never use our stamp. I always talk about it to all the CIDs until it's needed. Even for the first time I'm submitting to the city, I submitted with no stamp. If they come and say, okay, now you can stamp it, then I stamp and sign and send it. Because city doesn't care who submitted. And for the first round plan check, nobody ever look at the stamp or signature. That's why do not sign your drawings, do not put a stamp, just prepare it and send it. And they come back and said, okay, no, on the second round, provide a wet or just digital stamp, you stamp it, you send it over, you're done. Because this stamp is extremely legal and it has a huge liability. And please, if you don't have insurance, get some E&O insurance. At least you
Yes.
can find the architects.
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Anyone
appreciate
else have any questions for Diane? Nope. Okay. Again, thank you, Diane. And the board will contact you if there's anything further. They'll deliberate and decide. I don't know if you board, what else you have to say about it, but we'll contact you and let you know.
Diane, I have one question. Did you contact the city and ask them if that architect is still on record?
No, I did not know that I had to do that.
Yes,
I didn't.
Yeah, that might be if you get approached with this sort of thing again, the first thing that you should do is check that out and then tell the owner representative, whoever owns the plans, that they need to do that to make sure that change gets made. That just covers you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will do that moving forward for sure.
One more thing, Diane, because now we are triggering architects. Just one day, half a day, just put your time, just go over all your drawings, all your general notes, everything that you have, contracts, everything, in case if you have the word of architect or architectural or architectural services, eliminate everything. Because that's caught me one time and I got cited for $6,000-7,000.
Yeah.
That's why on this case, at least protect yourself. And in the case of dealing with the old architects or architect of record, we have to have all of our armor up. Be careful, any steps gonna be legal. Just talk to the city, talk to the engineer, and the good thing is engineer stamps on this too, but I see you sign the drawing. I think the engineer needs to sign it too. And then planning purposes, never ever sign anything. This signature is just for building and safety. That's it. Code.
So I have a question just to follow up on that. If you, as an interior designer, do you work on commercial projects? And if you do, when they ask you to stamp it, do you just have an engineer stamp it?
No.
Or how do, okay.
As for if it's interior, I stamp it and it's gonna be just my stamp and signature. And then if I hire mechanical, electrical, plumbing, structural, and all these parties that working, when we send our drawings and the title sheet, they automatically eliminate my stamp and they put their own stamp there. It means the full set of drawing, same title block, and 5 different stamps on it. Never ever overlap any stamps, because down the road, if something like this happen, then you're gonna be in trouble.
Okay, that makes sense.
And their stamps are just on their pages for what they're responsible and liable for.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct. Wonderful. Well, thank you, Diane.
A lot in the last 15 years. Anything happened to you, let us know. I have many solutions, but be careful.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate all of you. This was very helpful.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Board, let's go ahead and stop for a second. It looks like we have, hold on. We had an attendee that was logged back in there. I removed her. Okay. All right. I think you're good, Diane.
She's gone.
Okay, she's gone. Good. They had another person was attendee there, so I took her off. The other complaint situation, we kind of briefly talked about this earlier. I don't see that there's anything for us to do. A CID wrote information to us that she wanted to complain about people that she worked with. And so she complained about the people that she worked with. The first time she did it, she didn't list names. The second time she did, but the people that she was complaining about, are not CIDs. So we don't have any jurisdiction, and we try to make sure that she understands that as a board, we don't have jurisdiction over somebody who's not certified. And so I don't know where she's going to take it from here, but there's really nothing we can move forward with. We can't, I believe both people are architects, and I referred her to the California Architects Board. And she was copying some people from AIA on there that it wasn't a valid contact for. So there's nothing really that we need to do for that.
Right. I just think we just email her and say it's outside of our jurisdiction. And yeah. Sort of going back to though the previous complaint.
Yeah, I want to talk about that too.
Yeah, you know, I mean, this makes me think that, you know, we should maybe look into putting in together some sort of webinars on legality, liability, contracts, because Huton, you know, just brought up a really good point, is you want to make sure that nothing is in your contract that mentions architecture, etc. There's also other things that have been coming up, you know, where as designers and as CIDs, we need to make sure that we don't say schedule in our contracts or our scope of service, because then that sort of gets into the realm of the contractor. So I think we should, you know, maybe look into some sort of legal counsel that would do a webinar that obviously has experience with this, that can sort of point out
things. It's really important. She
it is.
Was thinking that this stamp is her business card.
Well, and that brings up, because I've probably done that too, where I've stamped a bathroom remodel drawing that I didn't really need to, but you know, it looked good. And I mean,